Today we're going to be seeing how Gordon Ramsay makes his perfect steak sandwich. Let's see if it is actually perfect. If you're new to the channel, my name is James. I've been cooking for many years, and I did used to work for Jason Atherton, who used to be one of Ramsay's top chefs. So if you do happen to enjoy this video and get something out of it, then be sure to give the video a like and a share, but most importantly, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any future content. Now, let's get started.
This is the ultimate steak sandwich. You want the Rolls Royce of beef. Ooh. It has to be fillet.
Now, Gordon has said in the past that the fillet or the beef tenderloin is his favorite cut, and it is also my favorite cut. Why? The tenderloin is the softest cut in the cow. It's right under the backbone, and it doesn't do anything. You have low fat, hardly any sinew at all. The only problem with the fillet is that it's extremely expensive because you only get one per cow. That's it. You know, it's not like a sirloin or entrecôte or any of the other cuts where you have multiple cuts. Let me know down below, guys, with a little thumbs up or thumbs down emoji. Would you try brain? They sell it here locally in the grocery store.
Now, season it beautifully. I like to open up the top of the pepper mill to increase the size of the pepper in the steak, so it gives that bit of heat. Nice little chunks. You just roll now, nicely.
Now, this is a big debate with a lot of chefs. Do you put the pepper on before or after cooking? If you put finely ground pepper on the steak before, especially on an open flame like with a grill, you run the risk of burning the peppercorns, and you can burn peppercorns. They do burn. But if you leave them whole, or at least in larger pieces, it is harder for the peppercorns to burn as quickly.
Now, slice the garlic in half, pan nice and hot, olive oil in. Hold the steak and just place it into the pan. Don't drop it. At the front of the pan. We're going to tilt the pan forward, cook the back of the steak, dual purpose.
Gordon is just wanting to pan sear the steak. He's not going to be cooking it in the pan. You also need to be careful putting this into the pan with a lot of hot oil because it may start popping at you. So always do it away from you when you lay it in the pan.
Now, roll it back and sear underneath. Next, my garlic. And roast that garlic. Thyme, fry that thyme. I want to hear it. We're not looking for a lot of color because you're going to dry out the fillet.
Now, this is very classic French cuisine when we're adding garlic and thyme to the pan while we sear the steak. This adds flavor.
So, just one end, turn it back down, and sear the other ending. Lift up your thyme, place it on top of the garlic. There. Lift up your fillet and sit that on top of your garlic. Butter in.
Now, what Gordon's doing right now is I think he's preparing to put this into the oven. If you give it a little bit of an air pocket so it's not touching the pan, it won't cook just on one side a little more than the rest. The other thing is to make sure that you have a good oven, because some ovens have hot spots, or the majority of them, and one side will cook more than the other.
Take a spoon, tilt the pan gently, lift up, and baste. I've got that scented garlic, thyme flavour. The steak's going to cook evenly because it's sat on a little bed in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes.
I'll tell you a little story about basting. So, when basting, you need to be a little careful and you need to be conscious about the spoon that you're using to baste with. The spoon is the most important tool in the kitchen besides a chef knife, well, and your fingers and your mind. One day I was working with a guy that was basting. He loved to baste, and he had his little spoon and he was basting some steak. Well, after about 3 minutes of basting, he decided to take that spoon, put it in a sauce, and then stick it in his mouth. Long story short, he couldn't stop swearing after he did that. He spat the spoon out, he's screaming, crying, and well, it just wasn't nice. So be sure not to use the same spoon to taste unless you chill it.
For the relish, you think of a steak sandwich, you think of a sort of nice heated tomato relish.
Out of all the other sauces, the one thing you think about is tomato relish.
You think of a steak sandwich, you think of a sort of nice heated tomato relish.
Not really, not necessarily. I mean, it sounds nice. A tomato relish is very tasty. Also, it's a little more effort to put into the sandwich. So if you want to go through the effort and you're going to spend the money to buy the steak, the fillet and everything, then it doesn't matter to go an extra step and get some tomatoes and everything and make a nice little relish.
To make the relish, finely dice a red onion.
3-finger rule. 1 in front, 2 behind. Through and chop. Wow.
Next, roughly chop a chilli, keeping the seeds in for extra heat.
Start off with the olive oil.
You can tell the difference between Gordon and Jamie, can't you? Because right now, Jamie wouldn't do this.
Little green chilies here. Out with the seeds. I'm gonna go for 3.
What? What he say?
I'm gonna go for 3.
Three? Just three? Just 3 chili for your curry. Hi.
Onions, chili. Generous with the olive oil. I want a nice sort of rich, silky relish.
Now, there are a few differences between a home cook and an actual chef. In the kitchen, we use a lot of olive oil, a lot more salt, and just a lot more spices and seasoning in general. This is why the food normally tastes better. Now, Gordon's using olive oil, which is very healthy for you, and it's good to use. We use it all the time in the kitchen. But if you're on a diet, I would suggest to not use so much olive oil. Yeah, 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So if you're calorie counting, it adds up quick.
From there, take your tomatoes. You can just use red tomatoes, but these yellow and red make the perfect combination.
Cherry tomatoes, especially the little red ones, are very sweet. There are some varieties that are even sweeter than others, but this is also why like San Marzanos are desired because they have a higher sugar content than a lot of other tomatoes. If you're cutting this for relish, you don't need to cut them one by one. You can take a little lid on a little Tupperware pan or anything, put all the tomatoes on the cutting board, put the lid on top, take your knife and cut them in half. I mean, you're gonna turn this into a sauce. They don't need to be pretty.
Now, put your salt in, pepper, and then roast those tomatoes off.
Gordon's not using hacked-clad pans. Must have been before his collab. You can also make stainless steel non-stick if you get the pans hot enough.
Take a wooden spoon and just sort of break them up. Once the skins blister, the whole tomato just starts to release all that really nice, sweet texture.
Ah, come on, Gordon. Use your hands to crush the cherry tomatoes. It's fun to play with your food.
Put them in your hand, and in there, that is pure flavour.
A little teaspoon of sherry vinegar gives that nice acidic balance to the sweetness of the tomatoes. Turn down the gas and just let them sort of stew perfectly.
Cherry vinegar is very common to use in the kitchen as well. It is important to add a little bit because you do need a little bit of acidity. And if you're not sure, take a little portion of this relish that you've made, taste it. If it needs more acidity, add more vinegar. If it needs more sugar, well, then you may need to add a little bit of sugar to compensate. And if you don't want the little cherry tomato skins, you do need to peel the cherry tomatoes. You can blanch them, or you can put them in the deep fryer for a second and take them out.
Now, a steak sandwich would not be complete unless it had the most amazing mustard mayonnaise.
Simply add 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise to 3 teaspoons of whole grain mustard.
Well, you can see Gordon's even tasting his own sauce. Yeah, tasting's important. I wonder if Gordon's going to be adding a little bit of arugula to the sandwich. It's very common to add arugula to, well, it goes with a lot. It has a nice peppery flavor.
Now I've got the relish almost down to like a really nice jam. Now, I want to make that relish a little bit more fragrant. Some basil. Slice it through and sprinkle that basil in there.
Since basil is a very delicate herb, it's important to add this in at the end of the cooking process, like Gordon is doing. You don't want to add it in at the beginning, otherwise you will lose a lot of those delicate flavors that basil has.
Beautiful. Look at this.
Ooh, nice.
There she is. My crown jewels. Time to take it out. Smell. is incredible.
If you're not that sure on how to cook a steak, I would highly suggest to get an oven thermometer, something that you can actually put into the steak and put in the oven at the same time, and then read from a little app or whatever that tells you what temperature the core, the center, is at. It's very important to do this, unless of course you want your steak overcooked.
And just baste one more time to fill it. Touch, it's quite soft in the center, so it's just coming up to mid-rare. Let it rest at the same time you cooked it. It'll be nice and pink evenly throughout the steak.
To make my sandwich, I'm going to char grill some sliced ciabatta bread.
Oh boy, Gordon's going to be toasting his bread. Let's see if he does what he did last time with the grilled cheese.
Turn that over.
Yeah, I mean, he's not doing it over an open flame like last time, but let's just see.
Season it nicely. Just a little drizzle of olive oil. I want to get that bread nice and crispy. Pan, nice and hot. Bread, in. Push it down. Smell is amazing, that sort of charcoal flavour. Once you've got those marks on the bread, it just stops the bread from becoming soggy. And look at this here. It is stunning.
Well, not really burnt. He just gave them grill marks, so they look like little croutons now.
Slice it gently.
This is the moment.
One beautiful slice. Wow.
Ooh, that's
Pink
lovely.
all the way through. And the beef
This
is
the
so
moment.
soft. It's almost like slicing through butter.
Oh, that's lovely. That is a perfect steak. The only thing is, if you're going to be serving this, I would suggest not to use a serrated knife when cutting the fillet. Why? Because when you use a serrated knife, you will leave these little marks when you cut because you're slicing it, you're sawing through it. I would suggest to use a normal chef's knife, or at least a carving knife, something that's double bevel, that's not serrated.
Let the knife do the work. Take a little bit of mayonnaise, spread that with the back of the spoon on both sides. Next, lettuce. Take that beautiful slice of beef. Wow. And then relish on top of that beef. And just slice the sandwich in half. Beautiful. Now that's what I call a steak sandwich.
He didn't add any rocket, he added just a little baby gem leaf. Well, baby gem's still tasty, but rocket would go very nice with this. A sandwich looks delicious. I would suggest though, if you want to try a little bit of a different version of a sandwich, adding blue cheese to this would go very nicely. Also some caramelized onions. Oof. I mean, you can make basically anything with a steak sandwich. You can add anything to it basically, but a very elegant little sandwich. If you haven't seen that grilled cheese video and our review, be sure to check that out after seeing this video. Hiya! And if you want to learn a little more on cooking and techniques and everything else, then be sure to check out my culinary course. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, don't forget to do so and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future content. Be sure to check out the next video here, and I will see you again very soon. Until then, take care.